What is going on, good people of the internet? Welcome back to the PEV Point of View. Today we are going to be doing a tire change on the veteran Sherman L. So the last video I made, I had this Metzeler Road Tech on there, 9090, and it's pretty good. I like it, you know, but my valve was actually leaking air very slowly. So I figured, you know, might as well change to a new tire while I'm inspecting the valve. So today we got the 9090 City Grip 2, and this is actually the real version of the clone that the TNT street tire is, except that tire is very flat profile. This one, for the first off, it's much heavier of a tire, and it has a rounded profile and probably higher quality rubber, given that it's a Michelin tire. So we're gonna change it out today, and I'm gonna show you how I have been able to successfully change the tire using a tubeless setup with no air compressor. This is the bike pump we're going to be using today. It's Travel Man. I don't know. I got it on Amazon for like $8 during Black Friday or something. So I'll show you how I pump up a tubeless tire without an air compressor using just an electric bike pump. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is remove a couple of the larger screws. So the way I like to do this, I like to do this in order of the screw size. So we have large screws here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 right here. We're gonna get rid of those. There are 2 smaller screws under here, 4 top screws going along here. All of them are different sizes, so I like to stick with the size, so I just have less back and forth with the tools. So let's go. Let's see how fast we can do this. This is going to be a race. And I'll probably be fast forwarding through a good amount of this, but we're aiming for under 60 minutes. All right, so that's those 11 screws out of the way. Now we can change our screw head to the next size. Okay, next part of the process, just gonna wanna pop off these protective side panels. I think this is a 3mm hex.
Get in there and get this guy out. That's one. Two.
All right, so now we have the good old trusty 4mm screws. There's 4 of them. There's 1.
Two.
All right, how are we doing on time? So we are at 4 minutes, 10 seconds. We're gonna pop off the battery connections. It always makes me worried for some reason. And look at that, 4 minutes in, we're getting closer and closer. Okay, coming back to my 4mm, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 to get off this motor clamp. Let me maneuver all this stuff.
Get him loose.
There we go. Just put this right here. Now our fast ace suspension is completely removed. Look at that, 70-pound spring. Hear the oil? Sounds pretty cool. Okay, so there are now 6 screws until we have reached the motor. And that is not so bad. We are going through this pretty quick. Okay, got those 4 out, and now we have just 2 left. So let's get these 2 out, and we'll be good to go. Oh, I do have a drill bit that is the correct size for this one, so I'm gonna switch that out. Okay, now the mud guard will come completely out. This shaft, sometimes you gotta wiggle it funny ways, but it'll come out as well. Oh, please don't break. There we go. Got to push down a little bit. That was the key to get that out. All right, guys. So 10 minutes and 45 seconds into the process, we have reached the motor. And I'm going to show you how I change a tire. So first, you have to take the air out of the tire. I'm not going to flip over the wheel so you can see it, but unscrewing the valve cap, releasing the air. Okay, so moving through the process, we just took all the air out of the tire, and this is where I want to show you something. So normally, if you go on YouTube and search how to get the bead off of a tire, they're going to say get in there with tire levers, tire spoons. I can tell you from my 12 tire changes, that's just not going to work. What you need to do, you can see I've damaged my rim like every fucking spot because I'm trying to get these tire things under there. It's not gonna work. What you need to do is stand on the tire and get your weight in one central area and it'll debead the tire. So let me show you that. Got my heel. Come on, tire. There we go. You see that? Oh, fuck. Almost fell. So what I did was I put my foot right here, pushed on the opposite end while I was kind of bouncing on it. No diddy. And now we have one of the beads off. We're gonna have to flip the tire or the wheel over and do the same thing because it can be a little tricky to get it off with just one side. So let's get that towel back. Okay, so flipping the wheel back over, I have opportunity to show you again. Tire spoons are not going to cut it. You're just going to want to stand as close to the rim as you possibly can. Put all your weight on it. And push back on the other side of the wheel. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. Ugh. Okay. So now that both beads are off the tire, this is where the tire spoons come into play. I can put my shoe back on. Easy process. Grab one tire spoon, shove it in there, come over the top. I really should be lubricating everything, but we'll try it out. Let's see if it works without lubrication. Another tire spoon off to the side. Push it back down a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Take one out from one side. Come over here, continue the process. Boom, okay. So now we got a good amount of it off. We can usually put the spoons aside and just kind of manhandle it. Boom, so that's one side off the rim. Sometimes you can get lucky and get the whole tire off. Let's see. Oh, I'm feeling lucky. Bam, okay. Let me recenter so you guys can see everything. But just like that, check the clock, check the clock. How we doing? 21 minutes, 22 minutes to get everything off, to get the beads off, to remove the tire. Now we just gotta put it back on. That is the beauty of tubeless tires. So real quick, I'm not gonna pause the clock, I'll just keep talking. So let's talk 90/90 tires. So this is the Metzeler Road Tech on, this one is the Metzeler Road Tech. This is the Michelin City Grip. Much different profiles. I'm not sure how well you can tell, but the Metzeler is way flatter and wider, where this one is more like an upside down U. And hopefully that'll let me carve real good. All right, so we're gonna go quick with this. First thing I like to do, get a little soapy water. I'm using dish soap, and apply it to the rim. You can do that however you like. I just spray it in my hand and kind of just massage around. Ooh, that paint is sharp. Get that off. Try not to get your batteries wet. Sometimes it does happen. And then, yep, all around the outside as well. All right, and you're gonna do the exact same thing with your tire, but before we do this, I just wanna pause real quick. So this is very important. You see the headlight, how the wheel is oriented? Direction of travel is this way. This tire can be either installed as a rear motorcycle tire or a front motorcycle tire. It's normally recommended to use the rear configuration, but everybody does different things. I use the rear configuration, which means direction of travel is this way. These are hitting the ground and channeling water out. So you're gonna wanna make sure when you put it on, it's going the correct way you want it to. And right now it is. So we're gonna keep going. I wanna get through this pretty quick. Get the water in our hands. Get it on the tire. Get a little soapy. Pay attention to direction of travel. And then now we just gotta get it back on the rim. So we're gonna do what we did with the tire spoons, just in reverse. See if we can't get one side of the bead on. Okay, that's not gonna work. Let's get the tire spoons going. So you're gonna wanna push, get it as far on as you can on one side, then come through, grab the underside of the wheel, pop it over the rim, keep going, grab the underside of the wheel, pop it on, a few more inches. Oh, kind of hurt my hand right there. But keep going. There we go. All right, maybe one or two more and I'll be done. Okay. So that is the first side on the tire. You can see got one side on there, it's still loose. Now we gotta do the exact same thing. I'm gonna reapply. Reapply, get everything nice and lubed up. Bam. Actually, before that, let's just try pushing it by hand. That's not gonna work, very tight. Bam. God damn. All right, might need more than one at one time. Hold this there. Hold this there. Ow. All right, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's check the clock, check the clock. 29 minutes, 29 minutes from start to take the whole wheel apart, take the tire off, get the new tire on. Now it's time for air. Okay, so now it's time for air. And before we do this, I just want to talk through some things really quickly. So I don't have a tubeless air compressor. I just have this normal bike pump. Here we go. So what you're going to do, set your bike pump as high as it can go. I'm just going to do like 55 for now. But what you're gonna do is set your bike pump as high as it'll go, spray water along the rim, pump up air into the tire. Now you're gonna see bubbles start to form around the tire. If there's bubbles forming in one area more than the other, that means you need to put pressure towards the rim. So if it was right here, while I'm pumping air up, I'm gonna push towards the rim to try and seal that gap and keep the air in there. So let's give you a visual representation, and hopefully this works just fine. So once again, get everything nice and soapy. Connect up to the wheel. Let's see if I can do this at an angle where you guys will be able to see the PSI that's going in. So turn this so it's up. Got it on. Can you see? All right. So let's give it a shot. Okay, so there's a visual representation. That was without me pushing against the tire. Now I'm gonna try and put some pressure on the wheel and see if we can't get it to seat, or to seal rather, and start pumping up actual air. So. Starting to take more air. Oh, I was on bars. I don't know. Okay, we're already at 12 PSI. Okay, so you guys probably saw the air bubbles popping up and me pushing against it. So let me just talk through that real quick. So the tire's bead line, right, is even all the way across except right here where it's sunken under the rim. So I'm overinflating past 55, or as high as it'll go, so it'll pop that bead out. So let's go turn up to 60 and see what happens. Okay, so let's take a closer look. So the bead normally pops, like an audible visual pop. But this time it didn't really pop. It was more of a like slowly set in place. So let's take a look at this center line and see if it's in the correct position. So on closer inspection, I know you guys didn't hear the bead set, but let's take a look at the line all the way around. Consistent, consistent, consistent. Yeah, so I think it's good to go. As long as the other side is not mangled, I think it's good to go. I can feel the center tire line in every spot. It's not tucked under the rim in any areas, and there's no air leaks based on the bubbles. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Let's do a final clock check. Final clock check. We are at 41 minutes and 35 seconds. It took me 10 minutes to take the wheel apart, so I think it's fair to say it'll probably take me 15 or 20 minutes to put it back together. But I call that a success. I call that a Sherman L tire change with no tubeless converter, with just a regular bike pump in under 60 minutes. That's a success to me. So I appreciate you guys sticking along. I know you've probably seen the Sherman L tire change several times, but you've never seen me do it. So that was my way. Hope I helped you out in getting the bead off of the rim and in getting the tubeless tire set up correctly with just a bike pump. So, all right guys, I'll take care. I will give you my thoughts on the City Grip 2 in an upcoming video. I'm sure it's gonna be sweet. Look at this bad boy. All right guys, see ya.